You take a deep breath, try to stay focused, repeat affirmations, visualize. You do everything the way you were taught. But deep down, something still feels the same, as if life were stuck in a silent loop where everything seems fine, yet nothing truly transforms. That quiet frustration, the one you rarely speak out loud, hides behind resigned smiles and a faith that's starting to wear thin. The question whispers in the corners of your mind, even when you try to silence it. If I'm doing everything right, why isn't anything changing? The answer doesn't lie in lack of effort, nor in the method used. It lies in the emotional frequency still active even when you think you've changed. It's in the feeling that pulses beneath your words, in the gestures you repeat without noticing, in the choices still born from old patterns. The quantum field doesn't respond to conscious will. It responds to coherence between mind, heart, and body. And often your body is still entangled with versions of you that you wanted to leave behind, but never cut the vibrational cord. Quantum physics reveals a fascinating phenomenon: entanglement. Two particles that were once connected continue to influence each other, even across great distances. Greg Braden expands on this. The field we live in responds not to what we want, but to what we're vibrationally attuned to. And if you're still vibrating in fear, scarcity, or rejection, the universe doesn't see that as weakness. It simply sees it as frequency. Bruce Lipton shows us that your internal environment, made of thoughts, emotions, and beliefs, shapes your biology. And your biology, in turn, shapes how you interpret and manifest reality. So maybe your life isn't stuck. Maybe you just haven't updated your inner connection. Maybe you're still entangled with something you no longer want, but that your body still recognizes as safe. You may deeply long for a new life. You may visualize abundance, health, freedom. But if, deep inside, your body still believes the old is the safest place, that's the frequency it will continue to emit. Because for the nervous system, safety isn't what makes you happy, it's what feels familiar. And if you spent years living in fear, urgency, or abandonment, your body learned to survive that way. That emotional chemistry became your baseline, even if it's out of balance. Bruce Lipton explains that we are conditioned by experiences and beliefs that over time shape our biological responses. If you were hurt, ignored, or diminished, your body created a protective pattern. That pattern became a vibrational field. And even if your mind desires a new path, your body keeps sending the old signal. Because it still believes it's safer to stay in known pain than to open up to the unknown. That's why sometimes everything feels stuck. Not because you're not trying, but because your base frequency is still wired to what once helped you survive, but no longer serves who you are becoming. Your body is still vibrating the old, and the field, with quantum precision, responds to what the body feels, not to what the mind intends. Greg Braden reminds us, the field doesn't respond to isolated intention. It responds to coherence, the harmony between thought, emotion, and action. And this coherence only begins to settle when the body starts to feel safe in the new, when what once felt uncomfortable, like peace, stillness, love, begins to feel like home. You're not behind, you're just still entangled with a version of yourself that once protected you. But now, lovingly, it's time to let it go. You affirm, you declare. You repeat powerful phrases in front of the mirror. But deep down, something still feels off, as if there's a gap between what you say and what you actually vibrate. And it's in that gap that manifestation gets lost, because the quantum field doesn't respond to what you declare out loud. It responds to what your body holds as truth, even in silence. Performative manifestation is subtle, it looks aligned, it sounds powerful, it feels right. But it often comes from trying to force change without real integration. You say you're abundant, but you feel scarcity when checking your bank account. You say you are loved, but carry insecurity in every gesture. You say you're healed, but panic at the first symptom. This dissonance isn't failure, it's a sign that the emotion hasn't yet been fully embraced to become a stable frequency. Bruce Lipton shows us that our biological expression is shaped by beliefs operating silently beneath the rational mind. Beliefs installed through experiences, repetition, trauma, and these beliefs don't live in your words, they live in your body. If you try to affirm something new without shifting the emotional field where those beliefs were planted, you don't reinforce the new reality. You reinforce the old insecurity. The field hears what you are, not what you say. It feels the vibrational tone of your presence. And Greg Braden reminds us, it is the coherence between feeling, thought, and intention that collapses reality. When you feel as truth what you wish to manifest, without strain, without effort, without urgency, that's when the field truly responds. You don't need to affirm louder, you need to feel deeper. You write down your desires, you visualize every detail of the life you want. You focus your thoughts with clarity and intention. And yet, life seems deaf. Nothing unfolds as expected. And maybe you start to question the process, to think the problem lies in the technique or in something you haven't learned yet. But the truth is different. The quantum field doesn't respond to your wish list. It responds to the emotional tone you vibrate with daily, even when you're not thinking about manifesting anything at all. There is a profound difference between a thought-out intention and a felt frequency. You might consciously want something, but if your body is still living in an old emotion, like guilt, anxiety, or fear, that emotion becomes your dominant frequency. And that's what the field interprets as your true request. Not because you want it, but because you are, energetically, that vibration. Joe Dispenza teaches that your body is your subconscious in motion, which means you manifest not with ideas, but with the consistent energy you embody. Bruce Lipton adds that our biology is shaped by our internal environment, the biochemical field created by our most frequent emotions and thoughts. So even when your mind is quiet, your body is still sending signals, and the field listens with absolute precision. Greg Braden speaks of the power of heart coherence, a state where your heart, mind, and emotions vibrate as one. This is where manifestation flows naturally, without noise, without contradiction. It's like tuning into a clear radio station where everything aligns and flows. The field doesn't need your list, it needs your whole presence. Your body is the channel of true vibrational choice. What it feels effortlessly is what the field manifests without delay. You may have already changed your thoughts. You may be repeating more conscious affirmations, choosing your words more carefully, trying to vibrate at a higher frequency. But deep down, you notice that certain situations keep repeating. The same feeling of abandonment, the same scarcity in disguise, the same absence of response from the universe. And then comes the question, if I've changed, why hasn't reality changed with me? The answer may lie in the quantum entanglement of your identity. In other words, parts of you are still connected to older versions, and they continue collapsing the same possibilities. In quantum physics, entanglement means that particles, once connected, continue to influence each other, even across great distances. This metaphor also applies to consciousness. The quantum field you're connected to doesn't just respond to who you think you are now, it also responds to the versions of you that you still emotionally tolerate as true, the ones you haven't updated, the ones that live silently within, even if your mind has tried to leave them behind. Bruce Lipton shows that unconscious beliefs keep operating beneath the surface. They are emotional memories stored in the body, and they continue to emit signals to the field. And until those signals are reinterpreted, the universe will keep delivering realities that match that vibration. Greg Braden adds, the field responds with precision to the frequency that is active, not to the idea you have of yourself. It's like trying to change the destination without touching the route, like trying to change the reflection without adjusting your face. If your vibration is still entangled with the pain you once lived, with the fear you never embraced, with the guilt you buried, then that is the vibration still running the show. And until that is revisited, the new reality will remain at the margins. Not everything that ties you to the past is a memory. Sometimes it's an emotional pattern your body still carries, a vibration that remains active even when you no longer want it. That's why energetically detaching from old versions of yourself is more than a symbolic act. It's a vibrational necessity. It's not enough to decide you're going to change. You need to break the silent link with everything your system still recognizes as familiar. At night, when the body prepares to sleep, the mind relaxes and conscious barriers dissolve. This is the most powerful moment to reprogram your energetic connection with the past. A moment when the subconscious is more accessible. And in that moment, you can practice a small exercise to release what still binds you to a timeline that no longer represents you. Lie down in silence, close your eyes, breathe slowly, and calmly visualize the old version of yourself, the one who lived in fear, who accepted less, who stayed silent out of insecurity. Feel this version as if it were standing right in front of you, and say internally, "I honor you, I thank you, but now I move forward differently." Feel the emotion. Feel the vibrational release. Feel the bond loosening. Bruce Lipton shows us that deep changes happen when the inner environment changes. This exercise is the conscious creation of a new inner environment. Greg Braden teaches that the field responds to what is emotionally alive, and by truthfully declaring this loving separation, you begin to collapse a new possible reality. Because the field understands that something has been completed, that a connection has been released, and in the empty space that opens up, the new is born. Visualization is important. Creating mental images of what you want to experience is a powerful step. But to visualize without embodying is like staring at a door without ever reaching for the handle. The image is there, but the reality is not. Many people feel frustrated with visualization because they believe that simply imagining clearly will make the universe deliver what was envisioned. But the quantum field doesn't move by image alone. It responds to real vibration. And real vibration doesn't come from what you see with your mind's eye, but from what you feel with your body. When you visualize a new life, a new relationship, a new version of yourself, what happens inside you? Does your body believe it, or does it resist? Do you feel warmth or distance? That internal response is what determines the vibrational effectiveness of your visualization. Because if your body remains disconnected from the image, the field registers that reality as unavailable, not because of a lack of desire, but because of a lack of coherence. Bruce Lipton reminds us that the body learns through repetition and emotion. It takes more than thinking differently. You must feel differently, and feel it deeply. Greg Braden reinforces this. The field responds to what is integrated, not to what is merely dreamed. And integration happens when what you visualize begins to shift your posture, your breath, your smallest actions. To visualize is to rehearse a new frequency. But life only changes when you leave the rehearsal and enter full presence. When you stop seeing the future as distant and begin to act, feel, and choose as someone who already lives what they desire. It's not about convincing the mind, it's about convincing the body. Because the body is what sends the true signal to the field. You don't transform your reality by imagining. You transform it when you allow yourself to fully inhabit what you once only dared to dream. Even surrounded by achievements, you can still feel empty. Even with material stability, you might carry an anxiety that never fades. Even with people around you, you may feel disconnected. These are signs that your external reality has changed, but your emotional field is still entangled with scarcity. And it's not about financial scarcity, it's something deeper. Emotional, vibrational, ancestral. It's the echo of old beliefs still active, even after all that you've already overcome. Bruce Lipton shows us that our internal environment shapes our biology. If that environment is still vibrating fear, insecurity, or guilt, the body continues to emit signals that keep that field alive. Greg Braden speaks of the power of coherence. Heart and brain must come into alignment for reality to truly shift. But if the heart still beats to the rhythm of lack, even the most positive mind can't change the signal. Emotional scarcity manifests subtly, in sudden self-sabotage, in unexplained emotional crashes, in that recurring feeling that something's missing, even when logically everything seems fine. It's a vibrational field inherited from past experiences, from stories you've lived, or even those passed down to you. And unless that field is reprogrammed, it will continue collapsing realities that match its frequency. The universe doesn't respond to your bank account. It responds to what vibrates inside. And if, even with everything in place, you still feel something's missing, it's time to look more closely at what still pulses out of tune. Reality doesn't lie. It simply translates, with precision, what still needs to be embraced. You can have it all, and still feel like you have nothing, if your field is still entangled with absence. In quantum physics, the double-slit experiment revealed something astonishing. The simple act of observing changes the outcome. When no one observes, the particle behaves like a wave, infinite in possibilities. But when someone observes, it collapses into a single point. This means the observer directly influences reality, not just through physical attention, but through the state of consciousness with which they observe. The way you look transforms what is being looked at. Life works the same way. The way you observe your everyday experiences determines which possibility becomes real. If you look at the day with resignation, reality molds itself to exhaustion. If you look at the future with doubt, the field responds with resistance. Attention is not passive, it collapses probabilities. And this collapse doesn't just happen in a lab, it happens within you, every single day. Greg Braden explains that coherent observation, one aligned with genuine emotion and clear intention, has the power to transform matter. And Bruce Lipton shows that the way we interpret events directly affects our biology. In other words, the way you observe a situation affects not only the field around you, but also your own body. Your gaze is a code, a beam of vibration that activates or deactivates possible realities. That's why it's not just about thinking positively, it's about observing with presence, with a genuine willingness to see differently. When you change the way you look, you change what is being seen, not by magic, but by resonance. Reality responds to the frequency of your attention. So ask yourself, with what eyes have you been looking at your life? With fear or with trust? With absence or with presence? With judgment or with love? The field is waiting for your gaze to decide what will become real. Every emotion you avoid feeling, every discomfort you try to ignore, every thought you repress, remains alive inside you. It doesn't disappear. It simply turns into a pattern. And pattern means repetition, an invisible vibrational code that settles into your field and begins to operate on autopilot. You don't notice it, but it's there, influencing decisions, shaping relationships, creating your reality without your conscious permission. Bruce Lipton explains that unprocessed emotions become cellular memories. The body records what you didn't want or didn't know how to process. And these recordings aren't neutral, they vibrate. And the quantum field, as sensitive as it is, interprets this vibration as direction, as intention, as alignment. What you feel most often, even if unintentionally, becomes the song the universe hears. And that's the song it dances with you. Greg Braden points out that our electromagnetic field is shaped not only by thoughts, but mostly by emotions. And when those emotions repeat, they form a unique energetic signature, like a vibrational ID that says to the universe, "This is who I am." Even if consciously you want something entirely different, this hidden emotional code manifests in subtle ways, repeating relationship patterns, financial cycles, a constant sense of dissatisfaction. These are signs that your field is being run by something you haven't looked at with full honesty. And there is only one way to break the pattern: feel, acknowledge, name it, breathe through what hurts, because only what is truly felt can finally be released. You don't manifest what you think, you manifest what you feel, repeatedly. And every feeling ignored becomes a frequency that repeats itself until it's seen. Maybe you've been feeling more sensitive, irritable for no clear reason. Your sleep feels lighter, your body restless, your mind filled with non-stop thoughts. And maybe you're wondering if you're going backward. But what if these signs are actually evidence that something very deep is shifting? What if, instead of being a failure, what you're feeling is simply your body adjusting to a new timeline? When a new frequency begins to settle in, the body, used to the old pattern, goes on alert. It doesn't yet recognize the new as safe, and so it reacts. It reacts with tiredness, with agitation, with confusion. Bruce Lipton shows us that the biological system reacts to any change with initial resistance, even when the change is positive. Because to the unconscious, the familiar always feels safer than the unknown. Greg Braden invites us to look at these moments of discomfort not as signs of failure, but as portals of realignment. When you're about to break an old cycle, it's natural for the body to try pulling you back to what it knows. It's like crossing a vibrational bridge. Between the old and the new, There is an unstable stretch where everything seems to shake. But it's exactly there that alignment begins to take root. Unexpected physical, emotional, or behavioral symptoms can be signs that you're crossing this field of transition. Don't fight them. Welcome them. Listen. Breathe through the discomfort. Allow your body to learn, little by little, that it can be safe in the new. And when the body feels safe, the field responds. Discomfort is your body's way of saying, I'm about to leave the old behind. And that is a sign that the new reality is much closer than you think. You're not stuck, you're entangled. Entangled with parts of yourself that still vibrate the old, with emotional patterns your body learned to accept as normal, with stories that are already over but are still being felt. That's why life seems to repeat, not as punishment, but as vibrational coherence. The quantum field responds with absolute precision to whatever is still alive inside you, even if your mind has already forgotten. Bruce Lipton reminds us that the internal environment is the most powerful programmer of external reality. It's not what you want that creates, it's what you feel every day, without effort, without rehearsal. And if that internal space still vibrates fear, scarcity, or doubt, the universe will interpret that as the frequency to sustain. But if you change that space, everything changes. Your body begins to respond differently, and so does the field. Joe Dispenza reinforces, true change only happens when the body believes what the mind already knows, when the emotion of the new becomes more familiar than the old one, when love, presence, and trust begin to feel like safety, not like a threat. That's when reality begins to shift, because the field can only reflect what you sustain with stability. Reality is like a radio. The universe doesn't create the music, it simply plays the station you're tuned into. And that tuning is your vibration, your dominant emotion, your state of being. You don't need to chase the new, you need to become tunable to it. And that begins within. It begins now. You don't need the world to show you something has changed. When your frequency shifts, your body will be the first to feel it, and the field the first to respond.